What's up, guys? Welcome to our channel, Honest Hockey Takes. I'm Hohen, and this is Scott.
Hey guys, so we're here for our weekly review. We're going to go through first our 3 stars of the week, the players that we thought were the most impactful for their teams. As the third star this week, we have Mikko Rantanen from the Colorado Avalanche. Now, Rantanen only played 2 games this week. Well, many players were playing 4 games, but what he did in 2 games was unreal. This guy put up 3 goals, 4 assists, and 7 points in 2 games. That's that's 2.5 points per game. That's insane. This guy was just unreal, and not to mention Colorado won both of those games. So good job, Rantanen. Huge week, man. Our second star of the week was Linus Ullmark from the Boston Bruins. Now, I don't know how much better you can play than how good Ullmark's playing right now. He is definitely not even close the Vezina favorite as of right now. This guy in 3 games went 3-0, had a 967 save percentage and a 1 goals against, and he also put up 1 shutout. This guy would be our first star if it wasn't for an absolutely even more insane run that we saw this week, and that is from our first star, Adam Fox from the New York Rangers. Now, Adam Fox did something absolutely wild. He put up 8 points in 4 games as a defenseman while going +5 this week. He also added 2 goals along with the 6 assists, and he was like the one thing that was keeping the Rangers afloat this week. So we got to give Adam Fox a lot of credit because they definitely didn't have as good of a week as I expected as a team.
So now I'll be introducing the biggest winners of the week. And at number 1, we have the Boston Bruins. This team got a big jump this week because of getting Charlie McAvoy back. And that was a big addition for them. He came into the game right away and scored a goal. And the craziest thing is that even with the acquisition or the addition of having Charlie McAvoy back in the lineup, Hampus Lindholm has looked amazing. Even though I thought he would get a little bit of a setback since Charlie McAvoy is taking all the big role, but no, this team is just flying on all cylinders right now. The big three have the craziest chemistry ever. Like that goal that they were bouncing around with the stick. Oh my gosh, that was lethal.
This team can't be stopped. It's actually unbelievable how deep they are. They're getting so much for scoring from everybody. Their defense is unreal, and Linus Ullmark is standing on his head night in, night out. And this team is probably currently the best team in hockey. Ugh. Now, another similar situation we have here, a team that we've kind of been talking about for the last couple weeks, but they cannot stop winning. And that is the New Jersey Devils, who went 3-0 again. The Devils are now 9-0, and this is insane right now. This is a team that should not be winning this much, and I'm even a guy who loves the Devils. But damn, they're just way too red hot right now. And especially from Nico Hischier, a guy who used to always get a lot of criticism, mainly because he wasn't performing to a first overall caliber, but also the fact that he always would miss so much time with injury. But he's been one of the main focal points of this offense, other than Jack Hughes and Jesper Brett. And it's incredible actually how well he's been playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is playing really well on this team. It's actually really surprising to me. I didn't think New Jersey would do this crazy for this long. Like, I don't even recall the last time they lost a game. Like, that's how long ago it was.
It's wild, man. Like, this team is so deep and just can't be
It's been
stopped.
on this team and the Boston Bruins, I believe, have been on our biggest winners week for three straight weeks.
Like, it's
So we didn't
crazy.
want to put that much time on these two teams.
We pretty much said it all about these guys. These
Yeah.
guys are just good.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next winner, and that would be the LA Kings. The LA Kings looks very impressive. They won 4 straight already and 3 wins this week. And the craziest thing is that in the beginning of the year, they were scoring a ton of goals and letting in a lot of goals as well. So they were winning like 7-5 games and crazy games. But now they tightened the gap now. Now they're winning games are like a 1-0 and 2-1s, which is a huge change. If you look at the stat line of the past week, only one player had 4 points. The rest kind of had like 1 point. Maybe some had like 3 players had 2 points, but the rest have like 1 point and 0 points. It's actually very impressive.
Yeah, that second power play unit was really getting going, which was nice to see to complement the big group there. As long as some of the third line players were really starting to put up some numbers.
Yep.
And one thing I'll take from the LA Kings that was a standout for me personally, and it kind of sucked because I had to deal with a lot of leagues where I played against this guy. But Jonathan Quick was standing on his head. He looked like it was 2010 again. And this guy's unreal. He really doesn't want to let Cal Peterson take that starting job. And as of now, I don't see any reason why he would.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to add about Jonathan Quick. I just also realized that this is his contract year. So maybe he wants to play for money.
I mean, he's getting up there in age, but he just seems to still have it lately, the last
Yeah.
couple games at least.
Yeah.
Now, next up, I have another team that also won 3 games this week. This one a little less expected than any of the others, and that is the Montreal Canadiens, a team that last year was dead last in points in the league. But the Montreal Canadiens came out flying this week. They dominated so hard, and Nick Suzuki at the front was a big part of why. This guy is turning into a superstar, guys, in front of our own eyes. He's already more than a point per game to start this season, and this week he had 5 points in 3 games. And just the way he plays the game as a leader, being the captain of that team, but also the fact that he has good defensive responsibility, he's just a complete package of a player, and I think teams around the league are going to start taking notice of this number 1 center.
Yes, and there's 2 other players that are really notable to me this week that really stood out, and that's number 1, Mike Hoffman. Mike Hoffman decided he wants to score goals again because he was ice cold to start the year, and but now he has 4 goals this past week. Very impressive. They need him to keep going. And the other guy is Kirby Dach.
I was going to say it better be Kirby Dach because
Kirby Dach had 4 points, and they really needed that second line center, and it seems like I had doubts that this guy was going to be any good on this team, to be honest
He's
with
kind
you.
of flexing around, though. They're using him a lot. They're using him on the wing. They're using him at center. They're using him around. So he's been able to play any role they ask, basically.
Yeah, so very impressive by those 2 players for me. Those are biggest standout to me.
No, I agree. All right, guys, enough for the positives. Sadly, we got to talk about some negatives here, and that is our biggest losers of the week. And I'm going to start us off with the Detroit Red Wings. This is a team that has been up there and performing at a high level most of this year, but this week, unfortunately, they went 0-3 and really seemed to struggle. Not only did they have a bad week in the win-loss column, but it was the way they were losing, and they were really performing quite poorly. They were losing by quite a bit in most of the games they were playing, and it was a combination of things. One, not stopping any pucks, and guys like Nedeljkovic playing horrible, but also their scoring is clearly limited this week especially, and they need guys like Lucas Raymond to start making some more plays. This guy's a pure playmaker, and he has gotten I think 2 assists or something the whole year. It's just, he's got to step it up a little bit.
There's a couple things that really stood out to me. I really did not like how they lost 8-3 to the New York Rangers.
8-2.
8-2. Yeah. That was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing.
They got stomped.
They got stomped. And Nedeljkovic, I don't know why they keep starting this guy. This guy sucks. He's trash.
Husso wasn't amazing this week either, but Nedeljkovic has clearly shown that he is definitely the backup of these 2.
Yeah. And on top of that, Moritz Seider really needs to wake up. He had 0 points and -3 this past week. He looked horrible.
It does look like a bit of a sophomore slump for Seider. I think he'll figure it out by mid-season, but he's definitely had a slow start.
Yeah, and then you look at another guy too, Hronek. He had 3 points this past week, but the thing is, he was also -4. So it's okay.
I think everyone on the team was negative this week.
Yeah,
it was a rough one.
It was just a rough week for this team. Hopefully they do better next week. But
I'm sure they'll rebound, honestly. I don't think they'll be this bad.
Yeah.
But
that brings me to my next team, and that'll be, sadly, my Philadelphia Flyers. I really like this team. Unfortunately, I feel like we expected this team to be about in the kind of closer to the bottom of the standings, and I feel like now they're getting adjusted back to what they should be.
Progressing to the mean.
Yeah, progressing back to the mean, coming back to earth. I mean, yeah, they got that in the beginning of the year. They had that big torch boost, I would say, because
torch boost.
Yeah, but Carter Hart is still playing really well, but at the same time, Kevin Hayes was a -5. Konechny scored 5 points, but he was also -4. The thing is, only the big guys are scoring. With Farabee, Konechny, but the other guys need to step up in this team.
What I noticed is, that team doesn't score enough goals. They rely on that really chippy defensive style of play that Torts loves to coach. And if they don't get basically 3 goals, they're probably not going to be winning most of these games. They're going to have a hard time as they go on locking down better teams, especially with the roster that they're fronting right now. It's not exactly the most deep, and unless Konechny's line scores a couple goals, they're probably not winning many games.
No.
Next up, we have a team that's been pretty solid most of this year and a pleasant surprise, but this week it was a bit of a rocky one, and that is the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Sabres went 0-3 this week, and not only did they go 0-3, they were kind of getting worked. It was not good for them. Most of their players really struggled, minus Taze Thompson, who's been apparently one of the best players in the league this year. He's still been having a really strong performance, but Yeah, the Sabres struggle to stop the puck, which we kind of knew was going to happen. They don't exactly have the best goaltending between Eric Comrie and Craig Anderson. It's not exactly a dynamic duo. And it seems like, to me at least, that the Sabres really rely on scoring a ton of goals to get their wins right now.
We said this before in the show, and I don't know why they didn't get a goalie this offseason.
Like, there had to be someone else that could have tried.
Yeah, like you can clearly tell that Eric Comrie and Craig Anderson won't do it for you guys. There's just no. But at the same time, like guys like Jeff Skinner, Alex Tuck, these guys did nothing this week. They were they almost had 0 points, 1 point.
It was rough. There wasn't a lot of contribution other than the Tage Thompson line.
You need that. You need those players to get it going. I mean, Rasmus Dahlin had a really hot start, but he's cooling off quite a bit now. He only had 2 points. So
I mean, it is early into the season, but this team appears to be really streaky so far.
Yeah.
You either get those weeks where they're absolutely dominating, scoring 5+ goals a game, or you get the ones where they're allowing 5+ a game, and it's kind of the latter for this week.
And the last team that has been the biggest loser for this week, unfortunately, would be the Vancouver Canucks. You know, they had that really crappy, historic thing that we did a video on them of blowing leads. But, man, this team just doesn't know how to keep pucks out of their net. Like,
they did it again Saturday. This is hilarious. They led Toronto 2-0, and then they still lost the game 3-2.
Like that defense is horrible.
This is historic, man. There's no way that any team by the end of the season is going to have had more times they've blown 2-goal leads than this team.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this team.
It's hopeless. No, I'm just kidding. It's not hopeless. But
Yeah.
I mean, they've shown some signs, but they really got to get together. And for Bruce Boudreau's sake, I hope he doesn't get fired, because what he did last year showed me he can still coach well in this league, but the team's got to put a better effort in.
Do you think the coach, one question about this, do you think the players are even buying into what Bruce Boudreau's giving them? Like, it doesn't even seem like they're responding to this coach right now.
I don't know. I think it's more of a mental thing for sure than like they have the skills. Like, this is a pretty talented team, at least on paper, but I'm kind of getting tired of talking about them on this loser list every single week. We do it because, I mean, we have to be accurate with what we're saying, and we have to put the true worst teams on this list for the week. But, like, it's getting tiring saying the same old same things. Like, these guys need more of a mental game. They need to know how to close a game when they're actually ahead. And it's getting very frustrating. I can't imagine. I feel for you guys, as if you Canuck fans out there, like, it must not be very fun right now, so sorry. Alrighty, now time for something a little less depressing. We're going to go on to our Rookie Watch of the Week. I'm going to talk to you guys about 3 rookies that really stood out to me this week. Number 1 was Matias Maccelli. So this is a guy who plays on Arizona, and I mean, this team obviously doesn't get the most fanfare and doesn't get the most views, but this guy put up 3 points in 4 games this week, a goal and 2 assists, and on top of that, he has now passed Matty Beniers for the rookie point lead this year, which is insane. This is a guy who wasn't even on our list of people to watch this year, and he's first in rookie scoring, so I got to give this guy props. What an accomplishment. Second off, I have Jake Sanderson from the Ottawa Senators. Now, the Senators have been pretty abysmal this year compared to expectations. I know me and Hohen both put them as one of the teams to make the wild card this year, and they haven't lived up to it. But Jake Sanderson has been solid. He got another 2 assists this week. And on top of that, he was like an even player. Like, he was 0 on plus minus on a team that really did not perform very well. And quite frankly, I'm going to say this, and this is one of my favorite players, but he has outplayed Thomas Chabot so far at this point in the year. So I got to give him the credit where it's due. Good job, Jake, and keep it up, man, because you're on fire. And third, I have Caden Gooley from the Montreal Canadiens. Now, I feel like I probably should have at least mentioned this guy by now because of his solid defensive play as a rookie. But on top of that, this week, they won 3 games, and a lot of it came down to how well Gooley played. This guy had 2 assists this week in 3 games, and also was +2 on a Montreal Canadiens team that's rebuilding. This guy actually looks like he's going to be a solid top 4 defenseman for them. And heck, who knows? Maybe he could even be a top pairing defenseman in the future.
So this is all we have for this week's recap. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like or subscribe, and drop a comment in the comment section about your thoughts for this week as well. But until next time, we'll see you guys very soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.